In my opinion, testimony videos are the most powerful use of video in your church. Now, as a believer in Jesus Christ, your testimony is an incredible tool to get the gospel out. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about how to prepare for filming a testimony video. Hey friends, my name is Tim LaPointe and I'm a videographer that helps ministries and nonprofits use video to tell their stories. And I've had the privilege of telling a lot of testimony videos over the years. And so today's video is the first in a series of videos that I'm doing on how to film a testimony video. So if you haven't subscribed already, be sure to do so. Turn on the notifications with that bell icon. That way you don't miss the rest of this series on how to film testimony videos. So I'm assuming at this point that you have a story that you're ready to tell. But if you don't worry about that, because in a future video, we're going to cover how to find stories within your church. But here's what you need to know about testimony videos. They're often about how someone came to know Christ or something that God did in their life that they experienced. So keep this in mind when you're making your testimony video. Make sure that you come to understand what the theme of that specific testimony is, so that when you start filming it, when you dig into the edit, you're honoring the integrity of that person's message. So step one is to schedule a call with the person that you're going to interview. Go ahead and make that call, ask them about their story, and take notes while they talk. And this is crucially important for your video because it's going to prepare you before you even show up for the shoot. So before you show up, you're already going to know what the story is, what you need to shoot, and what questions to ask during the interview. So here are some questions that I might ask on that phone call. Let's say I'm talking to a cancer survivor in my church. I might ask things like, tell me about your family, just some context there. When were you diagnosed? What was your reaction to that? How did your family respond? How did your community respond? Tell me about your recovery. How have you seen God through this story? Those are some questions I might ask on that phone call. And again, I'm taking notes as that person is talking. So sometimes these conversations can take an hour or longer, but it is totally worth it. It will save you time at the shoot. It will save you time in your edit, knowing this stuff ahead of time. And one side note here, make sure to ask on that phone call if they're comfortable filming in their home. I find that this is my favorite choice for location for filming testimony videos is at that person's home. And reason being, I find that they're a lot more comfortable in their own element, and also the home can help communicate part of the story. So make sure to ask that. Also ask if they have a room in mind for filming that they think would work well. And if they do, ask if they could send you pictures so you can start scouting the location before you even show up to shoot. Dad joke of the day. Why do they call it high school? Well, because it's not until graduation that you get to say, bye school. So now that you've completed your phone call, step number 2 is to go through those notes that you took and begin to shape those answers into your story. Find those points that are really going to connect well with your congregation. And so as you're looking through those questions and the answers that you got, you're going to shape them into these 3 points. One is context. So what's necessary for the context of the story? It might be something like, hey, my name is Joe, and my wife and I have been married for 5 years. We have 2 kids, and I'm a painter. That's context. And then you're looking for the problem or the pain. When COVID hit, I lost a ton of my clients, and we didn't know what to do. We were at a total loss of how to pay our bills. That might be the problem or the pain. And then what's the resolution to that? So it might be something like, our community supported us in an incredible way and we were able to make it through the year. We saw God show up by the love of our church family. Might be something like that. Now keep in mind that not every story has a picture perfect ending. Not every story has a bow on it, so to speak. So don't try to force one. The cancer survivor example that I gave earlier, that person might still be going through treatment and God is still in that. That's still a great testimony. Or maybe they were completely healed of it. That's also a great testimony. But whatever it is, don't try and force the ending, but try and take those notes that you have and shape them into the context, the problem, and the resolution. So once you have those notes matched to those 3 points, you can then shape those into your questions for the interview. So now you've gotten the hard work done on the front end. You don't have to have an 1.5 hour long interview where you're rolling footage the whole time, asking questions that you could have asked in your phone call. Now you know exactly the questions that you need to ask to get that story arc that you're looking for. One thing I want to stress here is we're not trying to manipulate this person's story. We're trying to shape it into a concise testimony that will be presented well to the congregation. So, not manipulating, we are shaping in a way that honors the integrity of their testimony. Step number 3 is to think about how you're going to film it. How many camera angles are you going to have? For me, I typically have a medium wide and a close-up. Maybe you want more angles. Maybe you think you only need one. How are you going to light it? Is there natural lighting in the room? Is there too much natural light in the room where you're going to need to flag some of it off? How are you going to mic them? I prefer to use a lavalier mic where I'm a one-man band. I just find it to be a lot more time effective, and also I still get great quality sound from it, but sometimes the lavalier mic is hard to hide. So maybe you need to have a boom mic so you can position that pole outside of your frame. You also need to think about the people that you're going to need there with you. I at least like to have one person to run the interview and one person behind the cameras. You might want more help. Make sure you have those people lined up ahead of time, ready to go. Make sure that they understand the role that they're going to fill on your shoot. Step 4 is to start thinking about your B-roll or your supporting footage that's going to sit on top of your interview in the edit. Now, we'll dig a bit deeper into this in next week's video, but just know you need to start thinking through what are the shots outside of the interview that I need to get to help tell my story. So there it is, 4 steps you can take in preparing to film a testimony video. These steps will help you tell your story in a clearer way and also in a more engaging way. So if you have any questions or tips of your own, let me know in the comment section below. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button, share this with your friends, and tune in next week as we dig in deeper as to why you need to use B-roll in your testimony video.